experts in the stager really has the opportunity to build the foundation of these investors' businesses. I mean, that's huge. That's something that can really propel these investors to some long-term success.
So there's going to be multiple streams of revenue. There's going to be a lot of furniture that are sitting there in the field and making me passive income. Passive income over here. And then I can stage with boundaries.
Hey everybody, Shell Brodnax here with another great episode of Stager Talk, and I'm super excited today to have Liz Pensiero with us. Hi Liz.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me and doing this. I appreciate it. So before we jump into everything, let everybody know your name of your company, where you're from, and how long have you been in business?
Okay, I am Liz Pensiero. I am owner and principal stager of Liz Pensiero Staging and Designs, so it's my name. And I'm located in Stamford, Connecticut, and I service Fairfield County, which is about, a 25 radius. We're about 40 minutes outside of New York City, north of New York City.
Awesome. And how long have you been in business?
About 2014.
Awesome. So is your business, are you diversified where you're doing a little bit of everything, or do you?
A little bit of everything. I specialize in both vacant and occupied stagings in the area. It's always a very fluid business morphing into different things. So I started out doing just occupied, got into vacant as time went on because there was a need.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of 50-50. It's kind of both,
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So do you own your own inventory and a big warehouse and all that?
I do. I don't have a huge warehouse. I do own a inventory for about 8 to 10 houses.
Awesome.
And then I do rentals as well. If there's a need for rentals, sometimes all of my things are out and I have to grab a couch or dining set or somewhere. I will rent it if I have to. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then blend. And then I love blending with homeowners. That's kind of the easiest way.
It's funny you say blended. Years ago, I said the term blended staging and people looked at me like I was speaking Russian. It's like, is this the perfect term? It's a perfect term.
What it is.
Blended service.
It's what it is. It helps keep the cost down. It helps us, use different things that we don't see all the time. And it's kind of my favorite kind of job, really.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you something. With the formation of your business and then RESA and you getting involved within RESA, what is your opinion on really what a nonprofit is? What does that mean is in a sense for the association world?
I think nonprofit, it's exactly what it sounds like, not for profit. I think that it's doing good for the community, doing good for the industry. It's kind of it's kind of a support network, whether it's this industry or it's for something else. And it's a not-for-profit association is always kind of the framework to fall back on, where you're going to find your peers, you're going to find administrators, you're going to find people that may know more. It's a resource. I think it's a resource for whatever industry they're servicing.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Their end goal.
Yeah, for sure. So with all the resources that we have, it's for people, there are different types of members. We've talked about this. There's dues paying members. People just want to support the industry because the work that we do. Others, you really want to get something out of it, but in order to get something out of it, you got to put something into it. So you've got to get involved, be an active member, use the resources, participate in the surveys. It's part of the things that we do at RESA for resources is release statistical data on why stage is important. So we want to advocate for the industry, but it's hard to do because we have to get the feedback from the stagers. So we got to get them to do the surveys and all of that great stuff. So what does it look like for you when you're looking at an active RESA membership? How can somebody get involved and take advantage of everything?
I think what you said is key, using the association as you see fit. I try and log on, I try and stay current with what's going on. I'm always so incredibly envious of the people that can jump in a director role or some sort of a leadership role in these organizations. I look at them in awe sometimes. They can run their business and they can take on that extra responsibility. I unfortunately can't do that at this time, at this stage of the game, but I think getting involved where you can, like you said, it's answering the surveys, it's staying on top of the elections. It's staying on top of the voting. You know, when there's someone, lately we've seen 3 people coming across that are running for office that we have to vote for. You know, I found it incredibly helpful during COVID when it came to, you, I think, submitted or sent out some stuff about state by state regulations and what was viable in each state. And I turned to that a lot because I had realtors. I actually had some realtors who called me and said, well, what makes you think you're essential? What makes you think you're essential? Because we're not, realtors at the time were trying to navigate if they were essential.
Right.
And I felt that I had already had the information that in my state of Connecticut, we were going to be considered. So it's that kind of thing. It's jumping on and using the resources when you can and that you see fit for your business.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember back when COVID first started, and we were scrambling because, like with your business, you've got to figure out what COVID's going to do for you and your business.
Yeah.
I had to figure out what COVID was going to do to HQ, RESA headquarters, and all of our members' businesses
And everybody else.
well. So the funny thing about Connecticut was one of those states where they were actually issuing papers to people to say a document state that you were considered what was the word?
Essential. Yeah.
Exempt,
Yeah.
exempt essential workers. And in the state of Connecticut, for stagers, they wrote us orders that were specifically, we had 42 members in the state of Connecticut at that time,
Wow.
and they had only issued essential orders for our 42 members.
Wow.
So if other stagers went and tried to do something on their own, I have no knowledge of it. They may have, but for us, when everything was going down, it wasn't just that they said, hey, all stagers are essential. It was your 42 members of RESA have permission to go out and stage and do what you want to do. So I was working with the various, the governor's offices and, you know, CISA and all the different big organizations at that time to really try to drill down who was essential, who was not essential. Because at the time, you know, it's one thing on the surface, you know, it's staging really an essential service. It's not life or death. We're not doctors and nurses and whatnot. However, what happens is when an escrow is closing and all your inventories, you've got $30,000 worth of furniture in a house that closes, legally, those owners own it. And so who wants to even have to broach the subject of having to fight it? People, you just never know. We're a litigious nation, and you just don't want to ever have to deal with it. So that was an important thing, a really important resource. Something that really was our role to be able to step in to do is to disseminate the information, let people know, follow the laws, and to be able to help them that way and try to streamline it all. You know, one of the things that we don't do is provide core staging education training. So we want the education providers, they provide the training. We provide like the aftercare. So it's like, before you start a stage, take this education, join RESA, get continuing education. So have you been able to access any of the webinars or utilize any of the free education that RESA offers?
Yep. When I have the time. Yes, absolutely. I see it come across my desk. I always kind of log on. I put it in my calendar. Half the time I can make it, half the time I can't, but they're there. Yeah. And it's nice that we can go back and refer to it, you know, whether it's the middle of the night and we're up or it's first thing in the morning, you know, it's, I absolutely, I think there's a lot of good to be found there. And very often I often say that I feel like I work in a bubble in some ways, because other stagers are very often seen as our competition, you know, essentially they are in our area. And, so it can be isolating because you're working with just your staff or you're working alone, and you kind of lose that peer, that stager to stager. You know, if you were in an office or you were in a workplace, you have peers. And I find that this is an isolating business because my peers are essentially someone who could take a job from me or I could lose a project to, which happens. It's the nature of the game. It happens. But joining associations like this, and whether you can access them through Facebook or you do it through Instagram or you do it through the website, it gives me the opportunity to connect with like-minded peers that are doing the same kind of work.
Yeah,
really.
And when you're able to connect with them, it's, you know, this has been definitely a thread throughout all my conversations this week, is that when you are able to connect with those peers locally, and yes, everybody's your competitor, but you can bid a job in the morning, Jamie can bid one in the afternoon, and you guys can meet up for a cocktail at 6. So you guys, it's so the people that have the positive mindset that that is what can be done, those are the ones that thrive. The ones that are always worried about somebody, what they're doing or what their competitors are doing or losing in some way.
Right.
Those are the ones that struggle a bit more. So I think that's also a really great resource of RESA, is that we can, help people with that mindset.
And connect, and you can find like-minded people out there that are doing the same kind of work. I think we've lost that one-on-one connection so much in society, as well as this kind of industry. Sometimes the last 18 months, 2 years have been head down, plowing forward. I mean, the work, thank God that the work has been there and steady and fruitful, but incredibly exhausting. And you lose time to make those connections with peers. Yeah. So it's been helpful.
Absolutely. It's been a rough couple years. So it's, we're starting to come out of it. I mean, right now I know that everyone I'm talking to is so super busy.
Yeah.
And people were able to pivot in their businesses and switch gears and still find new ways to be able to operate. So we're all coming out the other side now. So it'll be nice to get together in person.
I know. Looking forward to it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for being with us today.
Of
I
course.
really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
your
me.
time. Absolutely. For everybody else, it's another episode of Stager Talk. Join us on all the other episodes.